step on the thing last night?
Oh, you better believe it. You bet. Blue circle spinning on the horizon. It must be 12:30-ish or something like 12:15. That's right. It's noon 30 o'clock-ish here at Where's the Line. That's right. Right.
12 something.
Noon 30 o'clock-ish, baby.
Yup.
Noon 30-ish o'clock, I think is how it reads.
Noon 30-ish o'clock.
Tuesday through Thursday at noon 30-ish o'clock.
Noon 30-ish o'clock.
It says 12:15 T to th. What's the?
The?
It's just T to TH.
I don't know.
Our sign has a stutter. We apologize.
It's got a bit of a stutter.
You know, now some of you might think tribulations is a positive thing. It's not. What is the definition of trials and tribulations, my good friend?
I was about to do that. Test of one's tests, plural.
Oh yeah.
Plural people. Tests of one's patience or endurance, as in she went through all the trials and tribulations of being admitted to law school, only to find out she couldn't afford to go. This redundant Okay. This
redundant because trials are the same things as tribulations.
Oh.
Redundant.
Okay. Redundant expression, trials and tribulations, here both mean the same thing, is also used semi-humorously, as in, do you really want to hear about all the trials and tribulations of my day at the office?
Ain't that the truth? Does anybody really want to hear about our trials and tribulations?
At the office?
At the office?
I mean,
yes.
That's kind of what we do here.
Right. We whine. Welcome to the whining show.
And complain.
Oh, God, that's why I'm echoing. I'm like,
oh, shoot, we left that.
Wow, that's got a sweet sound to it, baby.
Well, we were listening to the Reddits.
We were listening to some music.
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
Okay, so we are in the midst of our trials and tribulations.
Yes.
Our tests of will, our patience, our
life, as you will.
Do we stick to our guns or do we fall?
Ooh, I like that. I think we stick to our guns, 'cause
so we stumble into, we say the wrong things and mean different things, and then we realize that was where we were at all along. That the meaningfulness of the past 2 days is, yes, trials and tribulations. Trials and more trials. Tests and more tests. Kibbles and bits and bits and bits and bits and...
Kibbles and bits and bits.
I always picture the little dog, kibbles and bits and bits and bits and bits and bits. Kibbles and bits and bits and bits and bits.
Kibbles and bits, bits and kibbles.
There's a little, I believe the original one was a Karen Terrier. If we were at the dog show.
The dog show.
There was a Karen Terrier, which is the same dog Toto was, as well as James Clark Maxwell, not the physicist. My dog is a kid. True story. Yes, my dad named our dog after a Nobel Prize-winning physicist.
That's hilarious.
That's just the style, man.
Yeah.
We had a cat named Pie.
We had a
not P.I.
You had a cat named Pie. Oh, like P.I.?
No,
or
not P.I., not P.I.E., the symbol. The symbol. Her name was the symbol.
3.14159.
Just the
3.14159.
That's why. Remember what we haven't seen TT in forever, but I call her Pie, because when you put two T's together, if you connect like the line across the top, it looks like pie.
It looks like pie.
Well, and the reason that cat was named Pie, long-haired cat at the time, she looked like, when you first add the ingredients when you're making a pumpkin pie, there's a bunch of some kind of canned milk and a bunch of some kind of canned pumpkin. But when you swirl them, you get that pumpkin flavor, and that it makes a swirly, and that's what she looked like. That's why her name was Pie.
That's why her name was
We had one named Puka. Puka's actually upstairs.
How'd you come up with that name?
Puka is, I forget which Native American group's word for an evil spirit.
You named a dog after
no,
evil
cat.
Spirit. Oh,
Puka, and Puka, and she was.
Okay.
And you've met cats now. You're like, oh yeah, I get that. I can see how you name a cat Puka. There is a cat upstairs in a box named Snowball. What color do you think a cat named Snowball might be?
White.
You would be
Of
wrong.
course.
As my daughter said, Dad, he's not named Snowball because he's white. He's orange, but it's winter. That's she was younger than Bentley is now.
Okay.
But yes, she named the cat Snowball. And Snowball and Puka are upstairs in cute little boxes. We have a lot of dead stuff here.
Dear.
I'm all about the impermanence, brother. And maybe that's what's made the trials and tribulations a little bit easier for me. Nothing lasts. Nothing is forever. Good news, though. Nothing is forever. Bad news.
Nothing is
forever.
Right.
You know, that the problem with impermanence is not that it's impermanent. It's that we can't accept it.
It's a hard thing to accept.
We want the world to end when we end, even. That's why we're such, oh my God, the world's got to end tomorrow. World's fine. Species,
The world for me.
Here's the thing.
Might end tomorrow.
Evolutionarily, if we wipe the planet today, it'll work at it. The planet will be fine, and it will keep planeting along.
Right.
The universe will keep universing along. Humans, by their nature, think the sun goes around
No,
them.
the funny part is that if we were to, nuclear do that thing, the planet would actually, rejuvenate itself after a while.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, the planet's going to planet.
Yeah.
Human's going to human. The question is whether or not...
Seems like we literally... Well, never mind.
Will the humans get through their trials and tribulations? These are our tests. These are our lessons. Go from the micro to the macro, and you will always win. Macro to the micro, sometimes not. But when you look at it, we are a species that feels unseen.
Next up on the Earth Show, will the humans get through their trials and tribulations? We'll be back next week with more.
Right? And then we go, we have to save the world. I don't want to lose species.
What are we going to do tomorrow, Pinky?
Try to save the world.
Try to save the world.
The only way we save the world is we all talk about it.
Yeah.
But not like dicks. That we're like, have you ever run into somebody?
Yeah.
They're so stuck on an idea. And I mean, to the point where no logic can impede their ability to wound themselves. To the point where you end up screaming at them, and you're so upset, and you're going, no, really, I'm telling you, this is what I'm seeing. Here are facts. I'm not trying to give you my opinion.
I've been that person before.
No.
I've been that person before.
I didn't mean in any way to imply we have ever been in the same situation as literally the humans are globally. Cognitive dissonance. I don't want to hear that.
Right.
It's so funny. The people obsessed with the end of the world don't want to hear about the end of the world. Wait a minute. I don't follow that logic. So I don't buy into the latter books of certain faiths that are all about fire and brimstone and the end of the world. I'm all about the love. Everybody knows that. Peace. Did you hear the love? Came right out of me. Peace and love. Peace and love. It was.
There's two different.
That was a Diet Coke, Dr. Pepper. You're right. There were
There's
different
two
drinks
different
involved.
end of the world speeches, though. That's the thing.
And
it's funny. It's funny to watch them.
I know it.
It's funny to watch them fight, but not realize that they're talking about the same thing.
Gosh, that's almost like if there were two tribes that went back to the place they were from and said, no, this is mine because I'm from here. And they didn't have a book that talked about brothers that came back in the middle of the night and didn't recognize each other and then killed each other. Oh.
I don't know.
The level of ignorance. The level of I'm going to fight. The place where it all goes wrong is at the cost of anything. When you're going at any cost.
Right.
That when you... And it's for the greater good. You have to understand these... Everybody thinks they're trying to take care of the greater good. Or at least the greater good for their family.
Well,
or at least that the true...
I am trying to take care of the greater good. How dare you assume that I am not? Or how dare you assert that I am not?
Right? But so then if you bring all those perspectives together, though, you start discovering stuff. That the joys of the trials and the tribulations, if you're paying attention, don't get me wrong, you're going to get scars.
Right.
you're gonna lose some. The
Get
joy of
bruised up.
victory and the agony of defeat. Because I mean, when you're trials and tribulations, your feet hurt a lot. I don't know why the agony of the feet. I don't
Man.
the
If you've
joy
ever-
of
if you've ever
victories
tried to
and the
walk-
agony of the feet.
If you've ever tried to walk somewhere in Columbus, you know how that is.
You'd understand the agony of the feet.
You'd understand the agony of the
Well,
feet.
but also in amongst our lessons. Okay, and for those of you that don't know, we say this totally sarcastically. We all know that it's an epiphany. Here we say epiphany, as in a epiphany. You got to put a little line.
I had epiphany the other day.
I had epiphany the other day. Breakfast epiphanies? Well, we get obsessed with the fact that it's hard. And the only thing I can promise you is it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is you're trying to do. It's not just because, they think they're self-important, what they're doing is hard. No, I don't think that. I think the one
I think everything that
real life guarantee is it's going to be hard.
I think everything that people do is going to be hard. I heard this quote yesterday.
That's what she said.
When I was waiting for the "that's what she said," but I was like, it doesn't seem appropriate right now. I'm gonna hold off.
It wasn't.
But no, but I was watching this video.
Should I turn off the air conditioner? Would that help?
Yeah, maybe. I was watching this video that was like, all work creates more work. You will always have work.
What
because good work creates more work.
Well, I have a question.
Bad work creates more work.
What's the meaning of life? What's the definition I give? I always tell people it's a trick question, right? People are like, well, what's the meaning of life? And it's a trick question. The answer to what is the meaning of life is question. So just like everything else, it's the obvious answer that's already built in. Just like everything life ever handed you.
Right.
And you're right, because when you question, what do you get more of?
Questions.
And that's the only real work.
What, questions?
Sure, figuring stuff out. It's a joy to figure stuff. It's fun. It's what an amazing place. And guess what? Our thoughts that we know a bunch. Oh, please. Have you looked at the size of this universe? Think of the available possible knowledge.
Universe is pretty cool.
So any point where you walk around thinking you know jack,
diddly squat.
take the biggest computer in the world and try and know everything about every spot in the universe. We don't have enough computing power globally. If you think of it as how many grains of sand are on the beach and how many grains of sand are on that planet across the universe.
Right, I got you.
When you start, or the point is, things we don't know far outnumber the things we do know. So quit hanging on to what you think you know.
Right.
Everything history tells me is 500 years from now, I'm going to look like a fucking idiot. You know? That, look at what time does. You only see the best stuff. Well, not really. The best stuff and the worst stuff, I should say. But my point is, the big stuff. Most of us will
fade out.
Right.
Sad to say, but that's life.
So
is life.
The way you advance the species, all of us, beyond just, have you met my friends? Do you share your story in a way that means we move forward? Or do you share it in a disingenuous way that holds us back? That the meaningful part of what we're doing, for me, is saying, look at where we are right now. For the first time in history, we can talk.
You know what's funny about you talking about sharing stories in a way that will help us? I was watching this podcast. These guys were talking about something like, they were talking about fame and how it affects you and stuff like that. And this guy was like, "Oh, I feel bad for these young 17, 18-year-olds that get this fame because you never really have a chance to work at it." And and he was like, maybe I should take a mentee or something like that. Like, I've been thinking about that. And the guy stopped him. He was like, wait a second, you're already doing that by speaking up about that, by
telling your story,
by telling
Well,
what happens when you get here.
you don't want to turn into a true believer.
Mm.
You know that, yeah, when it hits early, it's so hard. The hard part is you watch young artists fighting with it,
Mm-hmm.
and some breeze through it. Not breeze, but like JT handled it well.
Yeah,
And he was
so.
a Disney kid. But then you see Britney,
Yeah,
and you see her trials and tribulations.
yeah,
And now, don't get me wrong, part of it is obviously who's around you,
yeah.
but young kids get preyed on, and I don't just mean sexually. I get that's everybody's head goes to that, but that's not what I mean at all.
Mm.
That the reason I sit in this room and go, no, I desperately want no interest in any amount of money at all,
Mm-hmm.
is because that's all these kids are seeing right now. That's all you're seeing. There's somebody else reaching out going, I can get you this many this, or you know what, I can get you this many IG followers, or I can get you, you know what, we're live here in somewhere Southeast Asia, and we've got a bank of people that are going to make you big.
Mm.
And what they're doing is, in the midst of your trials and tribulations, in the wow, in the mix works too.
In the mixed.
In the midst, all they have to do is remind you of how big your dream is.
Mm.
And then they can tell you anything.
I'll tell you what, though. I think I'm starting to realize the only difference between now and like then, and by then I mean like 100 years ago,
Okay.
is that I think kids are just as anxious, except we talk about it now.
No.
Okay.
I played. It wasn't, I mean, don't get me wrong, maybe by the time I'm Bentley's age, 9, it's starting to get to me. But before 24-hour news, we played outside and we weren't scared.
Mm.
That at 11 o'clock when we were playing Ghost in the Graveyard in our backyards, our parents weren't worried about somebody getting us.
Right.
And there's a lot of that.
Mm.
That pays a toll too. And now also on top of it all with social media, you're comparing. You start comparing much younger. Don't get me wrong, comparison started when you got to school either way. To some extent, kids making fun of kids for the wrong clothes, even back then. You know, I mean, that's a thing.
That's a thing.
But
once you get into like that can come back home with you.
Well, now there's a global right and wrong,
Mm-hmm.
endlessly. And there's a why don't I have that because other people have that.
Mm.
So okay, how do I get that? We've become obsessed. Once upon a time, it was big for everybody to go, anybody could be the president. Well, at least in my circles, I'm white. I doubt that was the discussion in people my same age of other colors. So, I mean, there's some... That's changed, which is a beautiful thing to some extent. But, so I'm speaking for, I guess, a privileged white kid. Though the first neighborhood I remember was not like that.
Right.
The range of colors was so immense that it wasn't meaningful to me as a child that I was a color different than other people.
I think that it's very possible though. Like, I have this thought because it seems to me like there were still people that came from really, really difficult backgrounds. And there were still people who came from really, really tough-ish that overcame it but didn't really overcome it. I think about Ernest Hemingway. Just because...
Well, he dealt with severe depression his entire life.
Yes.
So that... God, what if we all cared about each other? I think half of mental health is us being there for each other.
Back then, they were not talking about things like the same way we talk about stuff.
Well,
you know?
For the record, not everybody talks about stuff the way you and I talk about stuff.
That's true.
That, you know what, we love Papa Hemingway, but we admit he killed himself.
Yes.
You know, that we talk about mental health as in a way constantly.
Mhm.
Now, my personal belief is, guess what? If you got mental, it should have health.
Mhm.
There's a stigma to mental health.
Right.
Is there a stigma to how's your physical health? Is that a stigma?
Right.
Have you ever heard anybody say you have a physical health illness?
Mhm.
You broke an arm, or there's no.
Mhm.
Oh, have you heard? I think he's got a physical health illness. We're finally at a moment, trials and tribulations of our species.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're just learning how to look inside.
Yeah.
In a meaningful way.
I think that's the point I was making, is that we're starting to learn how to figure things out a little bit more.
Well, and I think half of that is this beautiful communication thing we're doing.
Mhm.
I know. It means my anxiety's up, guys. I know my mom's going to point out I've got an extra cigarette today or two. But it's an interesting thing. I don't hide my tells. If somebody's out there and really wants to keep track, you can tell by the length of the hair on my neck how I'm doing. And the number of cigarettes. It's just relative. You know what? What we're learning is to work our asses off. And as opposed to giving up, we're doubling down. That the lessons we've taken from it is don't stop. And by that I mean, how many people specifically said that don't stop.
Yeah.
You know what? No, really, I believe in what you're doing. It's meaningful. Multiple people saying, no, this is the future of music. What the
Yeah. What? What's up?
So yesterday, one of the things we brought up is really hard to not talk about gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
About how amazing it is to have these kind of refreshing people reaching out to us and saying wonderful, just amazing things, supportive, beautiful things.
Yeah.
As you're mucking through it knee deep. A, it's beautiful to hear, and B, my head's down working. I don't have. There's so much. That's got to be making horrible sounds. I'm so sorry. I'm nervously, guys.
I actually kind of liked it. It was almost like an ASMR thing.
Oh, was it? Okay.
I was like, that's okay. I was gonna say something, and then I was like, it's okay.
Yeah, it's a test. Yeah, it was always school. Yeah, some days I struggle with it more than others.
Right.
Some days, though, the hardest parts teach the most amazing lessons.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know I said this wouldn't happen, but I'm losing steam.
You're okay. Well, the question is what you take from it. There will be trials. There will be tribulations. You will be tested. It will not be easy. That over and over again what you run into is, if you want to rest your head, be the best you can be.
If you want to rest your head, be the best you can.
So at the end of the day, you're not questioning you.
Yeah.
That, believe it or not, that anxiety, that endless piece is you questioning you.
And then
now, you may project it in a million places.
Yeah.
But.
And then you can, once you get rid of questioning you can get rid of questioning other people too. Because you don't have to.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
You just have to be honest.
Yeah.
So that the thing I've learned from hitting myself in the head over and over with a sledgehammer, and trust me, if it can be screwed up, I have. I'm not somebody that claims to have any solutions. I can tell you that it's made it easier to try and make my word of value. I've written. There was a thing I wrote years ago about be one of the faithful, and it's got the definitions, and it's not about religion. It's about being somebody that people can put faith in. Because if you want to slightly change the weight of the world on the people around you, in a meaningful way,
Mm-hmm.
all you can do is make it so you're one of the pieces they're not worried about. Because people gonna people, but the more people around you you can count on, and by that I don't mean, oh, I need you.
Right.
I mean in the sense that when the words come out of their mouth, you don't have to question them.
Yeah.
That's powerful. Because we're all worried 24/7 about what everybody else is thinking. And to have somebody in your world where you go, no, I know what they're thinking.
Right.
They tell me, they talk to me, they communicate with me.
Right.
It's meaningful.
Yeah, that means a lot to have people that you don't have to think about. You don't have to stress about it. You don't have to. Well, you shouldn't stress about it in general, but you stress when there's a person that is a little bit more. It's harder to know what's gonna get done.
If I wrap my words in the need for money, they lose all meaning. Because then I'm in pursuit of something instead of just sharing. And once you're in pursuit, once you're chasing, that's when it starts going wrong.
Listen here, fellas. Chasing makes sound attractive.
Well,
Chill.
think politicians.
Chill
they
out.
don't get into it because they don't want to change the world. They get into it because they want to change the world. And then a little bit at a time, because you've got to have that support.
Right.
When it comes to your trials, it's a simple one
Do you ever fear about that for us?
For about what?
Like the world changing us?
Why do I not want any money near it?
I'm saying, that's why I'm saying, do you ever fear about that for like...
Absolutely.
Once we get money...
That's why that's why I want the money associated with the nonprofit. It's out of my control. I can ask for money. Or I can, even if I'm allowed to move it around in a way that's meaningful, I'm held accountable.
Right.
Personally, I think this should be the new paradigm for the way businesses are run in general. That there's no accountability in modern business, and you look to a brand like Newman's Own, nonprofit.
I've never heard of Newman's Own.
It's every sauce known to man. Paul Newman, when he was asked, said, "Yep, but I want my part to go to."
Oh, is that the?
Where everything you see Paul Newman on, different hat for the Italian sauce, different hat.
Yeah, for the barbecue sauce. I've seen it. I've seen him on the barbecue sauce.
That's Newman's Own, and yes, what it does is donate money. Does that mean its workers aren't paid? Absolutely not.
Right.
Does that mean its CEO's not well paid? No, you got to get a good somebody in charge of your company.
Right.
But imagine a world.
Right. Right.
Where there was that kind of oversight. Because the current system isn't working.
Yeah, it's people figuring out ways to take as much as possible. And
because that's the system.
Because of where you are on the chain, you get to take more, and it's...
Well, the one thing I've learned is greed is fear.
Yeah.
That greed is the fear of losing it all. Greed, generational wealth, is the fear of how do I take care of the people behind me, because every human being on this planet, and if you want to talk about anxiety inducing, every human being on this planet always knows that they're in the back of their head, they're at risk of it all being taken away.
Do you know?
Even the Queen of England.
Do you know Warren Buffett's wife is responsible for getting rid of his money? Like giving it away as quickly as possible. It
was a convert. Okay, so one of the points Bill and Melinda actually at the time have made is actively talking to people who have generational wealth about making sure that's not what happens.
Right.
Now, you can literally, if you're somebody sitting on $60 billion, your kids can still be billionaires.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You can still go, you get $1 billion, and you get $1 billion, and you get $1 billion, and you get $1 billion.
And now we just get rid of this.
And you can have 20 kids that each get $1 billion and still give $40 billion.
Right.
The point is, it's the money.
It's unreasonable.
Well,
it's
no,
unreasonable the amount of generational wealth that people are stacking.
It's bad for the economy, actually. That what happens is large amounts of money stagnate.
Yeah, so
Instead
stagnant
of
money.
instead of moving through the system and making money for a bunch of people,
right.
it sits.
Right.
And it makes a banker and some investors a bunch of money.
Right.
Which, it's not a good system. But, and I'm not that comes across like I'm judging everybody. I'm not.
No.
That I have a lot of, so in all of my trials and tribulations, I've come up with a million different ways I've thought this ought to work.
It's a thought. It's definitely a thought, because it's like, I've always thought of, even if I was crazy rich, how do I make sure that I help other people other than just my family? Because that's my goal. My goal is to help as many people as possible. It's not...
Why is that not everybody's goal?
I mean, it's been my goal since I was a kid.
But as a simple...
It's weird.
But as a simple in everything you do, why is that not the common goal?
Right. Because I
Splicing, dicing, picking, choosing. I'm telling you what. If you believe in a God, the Father, a father figure, and you have ever been a parent, and you somehow think slicing and dicing through your kids about which ones love you enough is how you parent, fuck you. That the one thing I know, because I grew up in a Judeo-Christian world, I very much, I'm somewhere over there is the picture of when I got christened with my godparents.
Oh.
There's little Aaron. He was tiny at the time. What struck me one day as a parent in the middle of fighting for custody of children, literally, so about 25, what struck me the hardest was I can't believe in a divinity, no matter what you call it, universe or otherwise, that is picking and choosing amongst the chosen. It's Sophie's choice. You know what? Which kid? No. That doesn't make sense. If we're all universe, why would we be picking which part of the divine wins?
Right. Why would the universe care? Why would the universe care about us specifically?
Why is the universe picking games on Friday night at high schools? Well, let me think. We're down here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is God. We're down here in the basement. We've got both teams on either side of this wall. We're waiting to see who actually prays the hardest before the game. Really, it doesn't come down to any skill or expertise or ability on the field.
Or talent.
You know what? Really, I've got... It's kind of like, have you ever seen those contests with the applause meters? What I do is I just keep it up and... Oh, here goes one. Let's see how hard they pray. Oh, wait a minute. They've actually brought up... They've brought a priest into the other room. Oh my God! It's to the top. Which kind of priest wins?
Yeah.
Which flavor? I have trouble buying into the saying God in different languages.
Does this priest have more priest
God.
Juice than this priest? Just energy, Did they have more pull?
Let's ask the altar boys. Does this priest have more priest juice than this priest?
It's so funny. I didn't mean it that way until when I said it, I heard it and I was like, what? I was like, what, dude?
It explains a lot about how that happened. That maybe it is measured in priest juice, and that was why. Oh my God, dude.
This is a rare occasion where I'm the one that's in the DMZ.
Oh my God. So this one day, God and St. Peter are sitting around. And speaking of trials and tribulations, I don't know if you've read any of the books about God. It's an up and down thing. You'd think for God it'd all just be easy, but it's obvious he's like, he's interested and he's doing some things, and Peter sees how stressed out he is. I mean, I don't know if you've looked around the world today. You can see why, even if we're the only thing in the universe, it would be stressful.
It would be stressful to run a universe.
Well, the number of sports going on that you have to decide games on has to be overwhelming.
Well, not just that, but I'm sure there's some alien somewhere in there that's doing
I'm doing just Earthbow, but look at us burning shit down and fighting with each other. It's a constant.
Galaxies and galaxies.
Stop. I'm trying to get down
I know.
here.
Get to the joke. Get to the joke. I know. I was trying to build a little bit with you. Go ahead.
St. Peter looks at God and says, you know what, you really need to go on vacation. You got to get away for a minute. You've got to find your calm.
We're in the universe. Got to take a break. Come on.
You know, and God's like, you know what, I just don't even know where to go.
Right.
And Peter's like, well, you know, in the world of things, cold, snow,
right,
all of the things you gotta love.
Okay.
Pluto, not quite a planet, but at the same time, hell of a resort.
Right.
Hell of a resort. God's like, nah.
Some nice cold springs.
Broke my leg last time I was there. Broke my leg last time I was there. What can I say?
Okay.
Broke my leg. Not my thing. Done with the skiing. Peter's like, well, man, that's a rough one. But not cold. And you know what? And known for the ladies, the beaches, the just fire good time, Venus. I mean, let's be honest. Goddess of love.
Men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Oh, God's like, got a sunburn there.
Yeah.
You know, it just wasn't.
Not too fun.
Lakes of fire aren't the same as beaches.
Yeah,
it's kind
really
of a long claim for me. I get me wrong, it's a fire place. I'll give you that. But, man, Peter's perplexed. You know, I mean, God's been overworked. There's no doubt. I mean, he's working 6 days a week, only resting one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his union just hasn't been able to get shorter weeks. I mean, 5 days a week. I mean, other unions are talking about 4 days a week. God's still on a 6-day week. I mean, it's got to suck.
Right.
You know, and I'm assuming this conversation must be going on the 7th day that he and Peter are resting, and this is just the topic.
Yeah.
So Peter finally goes like, you know what? I know the place. I know the place.
Right.
Best of everything. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Come see, come saw-ish. It's the place.
Right. It's happening.
This place, I'm telling you, it's got the peaks, it's got the valleys, it's got the ocean, it's got the sand. It's, oh my God, it's everything you could ever want. God, earth.
Right.
God gets this angry look on his face. He's like, dude, you get the same summons every week for the paternity test I do. Like, I'm going back to that place. You've never heard it that clean. That's the cleanest version I've ever told.
That is the cleanest version you've ever told, yeah.
Yeah. It's hard. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's the joy of it. Hands in the dirt. Eyes in the stars.
Man, feet in the dirt. Have you ever walked outside barefoot, just walk into the grass?
I do.
Just sit there. Oh my God.
How long did it take me to convince you?
I don't remember, but it was nice.
Hood kids don't take their shoes off. They know there's broken glass.
Yeah. Why would you take your shoes off? I don't.
And I mean, the lawn is some. Man, there's some dirt lawns down in the hood.
Yes. With dog doo doo and.
Well, and the funniest part is though, lawns are just we are obsessed with lawns, and all they are is a way to show your wealth.
Yeah.
It's look at me. I have so much money.
Land.
I have land I don't grow things on.
I have land I don't do anything with.
Look at my grassy green.
Right.
Well, and I think of where we could go. I look at the potential. That when I see our world, our family, the living things here, I'm not upset about the fact that it's been hard. It's not, that doesn't make the bad parts good or the good parts bad, but it doesn't, they're all meaningful.
Right, it's all meaningful to you.
That when and I've talked about this before, as opposed to endlessly mad at China now, I'm glad the Dalai Lama is in the world. The compassion that came out of China wouldn't have happened. I'm not mad at Paul. As much as Paul was all about how do I sell this, how do I convince him.
The story of Jesus doesn't come from...
If Paul doesn't get out there and promo it, if we don't have the Don King of the Faith, because Peter
we
wasn't
don't get
a promo
Mike Tyson,
artist. You don't get Mike Tyson.
Yep.
And so compassion, love, please go look through the Quran. It mentions Christ more often than the New Testament.
Yeah.
True story. That
Pick up
all
a
of those
You said
faiths,
pick up a Quran.
if you pick up the Quran, you know the Quran, the Muslim one,
Yeah, I
the
know.
Islam thing.
I know.
No, Jesus is a prophet.
Oh. That's the thing. That's the thing that was strange to me, was like, so in Christianity, Jesus is a prophet and he's the Son of God.
He's the Messiah.
Yes.
It's okay. So you want to understand.
In Islam, he's a prophet, but he's not the Son of God. And then in Hebrew, he's not a prophet. He's not the Son of God. That was the thing that always. Well, technically, where you are is what's your stance on Jesus.
Well, you know what that's really about? Who gets the power?
Right.
So the Hebrews are going, no, we have the power because we're the chosen people, but the Messiah hasn't been here yet. No guy.
Right.
The Christians are like, no, we got the guy, which means we're in charge.
Right.
You got to listen to us.
Right.
All the way up to like, hey, let's run all over the Middle East and kill as many Muslims as we can.
Right.
The Holy Wars, what can I say? They're fighting over who does God love the most. This is literally the back seat.
This is humanity's tribulation.
This is me and my brother in the back seat of a 70-something Pinto, fighting over the line in the middle, going, stop touching me, and fighting over Daddy's love. That's where we're at. Okay, so you go, okay, I get that amongst those three faiths.
Right.
So then even amongst those faiths, you get the two sides in the Muslim faith about how do you decide who gets to keep the power.
Shia and what do you call it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what that's about is we've got the next guy, you've got the next guy.
Right.
Christianity, it's do we listen to the Pope or do we do our own thing?
Right.
All the way down to the Mormons that are now again claiming they've got their own guy.
Yeah.
But everybody claiming we get to control the knowledge. The only true wisdom is ours.
Right.
The second you say that, I stop listening. I go read it instead. Because if you're so wisdom doesn't work that way. Defining it as a single source has just limited your wisdom, and I suggest accelerated your ignorance. Now, that's not a judgment.
Everything that's ever been made, I feel like, is marked with truth. Like, even we were talking about how we were listening to a song and they were talking about money and stuff like that. And it seemed a bit shallow to me. But also, I know that that's where this person is at. There's a mark of truth in that. There's
perspective.
Yeah, there's perspective. There's
the time and again, if you listen closely. Oh God, and that's what I love. That's what drives me. That's why I love being around artists. Because even on the days they're not telling me, they're telling me. Because they're at least putting it out there. I struggle getting people to communicate. But artists, they're already trying to bleed all over everything. I just kind of pick up the residue. It's okay.
Yeah. We're like overflowing with expression.
And that's why when I listen to Michael Jackson, it makes me sad.
Really?
Because what I hear in Michael Jackson is The Mask.
Yeah.
And I wish I understood better. I wish it was closer to telling me what he was really going through, because I could see the pain all the way through. The hidden child, that he was always a mask. So it doesn't mean that
don't think that I'm co-signing that.
No, I'm not downing him. What I'm saying is, no, it's amazing music, but the part for me that's hard is what I really hear in it isn't the same as what other people hear. I hear the pain.
Right.
That when I look at that perspective, I hear his perspective, and that perspective is so different than how other people feel about the music.
There are some songs that I constantly come back to by Michael Jackson, and they're usually the songs where I felt like he was trying to be unapologetically himself.
Right.
There's a couple of songs like that where I'm like,
how high pitched was his voice?
Well, no, he cared. Like, the thing that's apparent to me is that he cared about people, and he cared about he cared about making some. I can't quite get it, but it's like
Yeah, no, he was a real
he
person.
he
wasn't
had redeeming
Michael
quality.
Jackson.
Yeah.
He was a scared person inside that body.
Yes.
And so for me, I resonate so hard with that piece
Mm-hmm.
that it's hard for me to listen to him, because what I hear is him screaming for somebody to see him.
Yeah.
The Billie Jean, the all of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bad. He literally thinks that about himself. Yes, they play it up like a gang thing for the video.
Right.
But he's singing about not liking himself.
Right. Yeah.
Heavier.
Why you think I resonate with that? I like it.
No, I know. No,
yeah,
I get it.
it's like
But sometimes people
that's
come to
where
me
you're
with
at,
Michael
you know?
Jackson and I'm like, oh god, none of it was about that dance shit he was doing.
yeah, I don't.
That was all the cover. That was all the watch my hand while I fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
Literally watch my hand while I fall apart.
Yeah.
Don't look past the fake part. I got a magician's hand here that's going to make you not look at me, and I'm going to literally be afraid to take off sunglasses and look people in the eye.
Right.
Oh, that sounds healthy. I suppose I could go get Elvis Presley's daughter for a minute. What? Trials and tribulations. Tests. There will be tests every day.
Every single day.
Every single day. That I've been talking to some people about hard decisions, and in my head it doesn't feel like that. It feels like, oh, that's the normal part. Have you looked at the amazing part? Have you ever been chased by a tiger?
No.
Okay.
Never.
So if you're walking
that would
along
be
in a place
horrifying.
where tigers might be,
Mhm.
as people do walking along, and perhaps a tiger catches your scent, as tigers might do. Tigers
Yeah, tigers.
scenting.
They smell.
So, but you notice that there's a tiger chasing you, and that kind of sucks. I mean, in the world of bad days, trials, tribulations,
That's a bad day.
there's a tiger after you. Not a good feeling.
Not a good day.
So you come up on a cliff.
Oh God.
The only way you're going to get away from the tiger is to kind of go down it a bit, because the tiger is not going to be able to cling onto the side and get you. You hope.
Right.
Now, as happens in Tigervilles, if tigers is smelling you, there's chances are more than one tiger might. So you got a tiger up here, and eventually you got a tiger down there, and meanwhile you're hanging off the side of this cliff.
Okay.
And the whole message is really, there's going to be tigers. However you define your trials and tribulations,
Mm-hmm.
your tigers, just for some extra alliteration. Hopefully, A, there's a root to hold on to. B, you look over and you see a fruit. Pick the fruit. In my story, it's always a strawberry, but the point is, there's always going to be tigers. Are you going to find the fruit? There's always going to be somebody at your door.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not true. We have defined that as I'm broke. Though I know a lot of people that aren't broke that are really miserable.
Right.
Just because their tigers aren't dollar bills doesn't mean they're not tigers.
Right.
It doesn't mean that Elon isn't going through shit.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that the people you think have it easy
Don't
in
always
their head have it easy.
Right.
You have a list in your head of what would make it better for your life, and you're going, well, that person has it. If I had that, I'd be perfect.
I think the only thing you can control is whether or not you think you have it easy.
I think the only thing you can control is whether or not you search for the strawberries.
Exactly.
Because the tigers are going to scent you up. They're going to find you. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
Eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight.
Literally. It's the trials. That's the whole point of that song.
Yeah.
It's the thrill of the fight. You got to be in it. You got to get in that arena. You got to fight.
Fight.
But fighting is as simple as knowing there are going to be
don't stop.
tigers. Believing.
It's as simple as don't stop.
Don't stop. Chubbawamba.
Mm-hmm.
Never going to keep me down. You know what? Trials and tribulations. Don't expect them to not be there. Expect it to be school. You know what? I'm sure we're doing something later this afternoon. We've got J. Jules at 4. And we do have a couple shows tomorrow going on.
Yep.
We
Quite
do.
a few.
Well, no, just a couple. Hillary and Court, I believe.
Well, a couple.
That I'm really looking forward to talking to Hillary, and Court sounds like a cool dude. And where's the line? We'll be back next Tuesday.
Yep.
12:30 o'clock ish.